everyone and welcome back to Moment Tracks. In today's video, I discuss the entire history of Victoria's regional public transport provider, V-Line, founded on July 1st of 1983 to take over regional freight and passenger operations of the Victorian Railways. This video is all about V-Line's history. Hope you enjoy. If you do, please like, comment and subscribe. On the 1st of July 1983, the State Transport Authority and a range of other transport bodies were created. When the Transport Act of 1983 came into effect, the new authority replaced VicRail and established the V-Line operating brand for both country, passenger and freight services. The VicRail orange and silver teacup livery used on passenger rolling stock was replaced in August 1983 by an orange and grey livery. The white and green V-Line logo was launched on 21st of August 1983 by the Transport Minister Steve Crabb at Spencer Street Station, with special trains running to and from Essendon to mark the occasion. This was altered in July of 1989 when the Transport Act took effect, merging the State Transport Authority with the Metropolitan Transit Authority to form the Public Transport Corporation. The relationship between V-Line and the Met brands was blurred, with brand new V-Line Sprinter diesel multiple units delivered from 1993 to 1995 appearing in PTC colours, or Public Transport Corporation for short, but with PTC and V-Line logos. On July 1st of 1994, the operation of some of V-Line's regional passenger services was contracted out to the private sector. Hoy's Road Lines took over the Melbourne to Cobram service, with trains operated under contract by V-Line to Shepparton, with Hoy's operating a road coach service beyond. The service from Melbourne to Warrnambool was operated by West Coast Railway, who operated their own trains throughout. Both of these services returned to V-Line in 2004. Unfortunately, from July to September of 1993, V-Line passenger services running to Leongatha, Bansell, Cobram, Dimbulla, Mildura were closed down by the Kennett State Government, citing declining ridership and high operational costs. Services to Ararat would also be closed down on 27th of May 1994, but not because of the government, but because of the gauge conversion of the line between Melbourne and Adelaide from broad to standard gauge track. However, in 1995, the freight and passenger rail divisions of V-Line would be divided, with a new red, blue and white livery for its passenger trains being introduced, replacing the teacup orange livery. The split would be finalised in July 1997 when separate management was brought in. In July of 1998, operation of the V-Line Stony Point line would be passed to Bayside Trains, and to this day V-Line continues to lend rolling stock to Metro Trains Melbourne to operate the service. V-Line Freight was sold to a consortium of Rail America, Flower Daniel, Macquarie Bank, and Gone On, and rebranded as Freight Victoria, effective from May 1st, 1999. The sale included a 45-year lease of most regional track, passenger and freight, with responsibilities for track signalling and level crossings, with access to passenger sections of track granted by V-Line Passenger. The state government had not wanted to sell rights to the track infrastructure, but persuaded by bids by three primarily American consortia, which argued greater efficiencies could be accomplished by vertical integration. After being renamed to Freight Australia in March 2000, it was sold to Pacific National in August 2004. In May 2007, Pacific National sold the rail lease of the network back to Big Track. On the 29th of August 1999, National Express took control of V-Line's passenger services, having won a 10-year concession in competition with many other rail operators from not just Australia, but all over the world. National Express also operated the M-Tram and M-Train franchises in Melbourne. It included all country rail operations in Victoria, with the exception of the Shepparton and Warrnambool services previously franchised in 1993. National Express inherited a fleet of A, N, P, and Y class diesel-electric locomotives, H, N, S, and Z-type carriages, and Sprinter diesel multiple units. As part of the franchise commitment, 29 two-car Velocity trains were ordered from Bombardier. In December of 2002, National Express handed in its Victorian rail and tram franchises, having been unable to renegotiate financial terms with the state government. Full control of V-Line was taken on 1st of October 2003 by changing the shareholding of V-Line, making the government the sole shareholder via a recently created statutory corporation, V-Line Passenger Corporation. In the year 2000, the Regional Fast Rail project was launched to upgrade the tracks linking Ballarat, Bendigo, Geelong, and the Latrobe Valley to Melbourne. The project, which also included an extra 10 Velocity diesel trains and an expanded timetable of services, commenced full operations from December 2005. V-Line passenger services to Bairnsdale and Ararat would be restored in 2004. Then in December 2008, as part of the Victorian Transport Plan, it was announced that V-Line will restore passenger services to Maryborough at a cost of $50 million. Services commenced in July of 2010 after 15 years of no trains to Maryborough. In May 2008, it was announced that part of the V-Line fleet would be converted to operate on standard gauge track, following the upgrade of the Albury line after it being converted from broad to standard gauge track. However, in December of that same year, V-Line ended the sale of alcoholic beverages aboard long-distance trains. In 2009, work began on the Regional Rail Link project, a 47.5-kilometre new double-track railway through Melbourne's western suburbs designed to separate V-Line and Metro trains and create a new corridor for the Geelong line. The project was originally budgeted at $4.32 billion, but had a final cost of $3.65 billion. When it opened in 2015, the Deer Park to West Werribee railway line added new V-Line stations in Melbourne West, at Tarney and Windsor Vale, enabling higher frequencies and expanding V-Line's role as a commuter train service. Patronage has been steadily increasing on the V-Line network, growing by 83% between 2006 and 2007. And 2015 to 2016, from 8.9 million to 16.3 million. It was later found that the regional rail link had led to an 80% patronage increase on the Geelong line. In 2017, the state government under Premier Daniel Andrews initiated work on the Regional Rail Revival Program, a $4 billion project to upgrade Victoria's regional railways and provide more reliable and frequent passenger services. The program was co-funded by the federal government through the Commonwealth's Asset Recycling Fund. The project reflected the upgrades outlined in the 2016 Regional Network Development Plan. The project involved upgrades to all of Victoria's regional lines. The project allocated $518 million for upgrades to the Ballarat line, including 18-kilometre section of duplicated track between Deer Park West and Melton stations, new passing loops, new train stabling, upgraded stations, and more car parking along the corridor. A new platform and track was added to Warn Pond Station on the Geelong line, and a rail line to Armstrong Creek was investigated. The Gippsland line will have its signalling upgraded, some track duplicated, and a new stabling facility built, and platforms added to some stations. The North East, Shepparton and Warrnambool lines were upgraded to allow Velocity trains to run on those corridors. Also part of the regional rail revival was a new bridge built over the Avon River in Gippsland on the Bairnsdale line, and new stations would be built at Gornong, Huntley and Raywood on the Echuca line. Ever since the regional rail revival was launched, V-Line's Velocity diesel monoport units have become the primary rolling stock servicing the V-Line network, with a total of 105 free-car Velocity trains in service as of this year. 23 additional free-car Velocity trains have also since been ordered to replace the last of V-Line's locomotive-hauled trains.